Today, we will start with a topic called services. What is the use of services in Angular and how to use services in Angular application? We will understand that. So first of all, let's understand what is the need of services. We will understand what is the need of services. Okay, we have one application. When we have one application, that application will have lot of components. When we have lot of components, if we have some data in the component, if component 1 has some data, passing the data from component 1 to component 2 is always a challenge. If it is parent-child relationship, we have to use @input. If it is child-parent relationship, we have to use @output. If there is no relationship, it is again a challenge. So we can say maintaining data in one component and passing that data to another component is always a challenge in Angular. As a solution to that, the solution for this challenge is service. What service says, if you have a data and that data should be used by multiple components, if component 1 wants to use some data, the same set of data is needed by component 2. The same set of data is needed by component 3. Rather than maintaining that data in component 1 and passing those data to component 2 and component 3, let's not maintain the data in the component level. Let's make the data available to a service. If you ask me what is a service, I will say service is a file or service is a class where we will declare the common data and common logic that will be used by multiple components. Is it clear? What is a service? A service is a class where we will maintain the common data. Data means variable and common logic. Logic means functions. So the common data and common functions will be written in a service, and and that data will be used by multiple components from service. Is it clear so far?
Yes, sir.
Are we clear what is service? I'm audible? Oh, you are on mute. Now?
Yes, now fine.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay. So, let's start with one example. Suppose, suppose, uh, I have two components. Let's say I have two components. I will create a component. The component name is math1 component, math demo 1. Math demo 1 is a component. Math demo 1 is a component. Math demo 2 is a component. There are two components called math demo 1 and math demo 2. And I will create a service ng generate service services. Inside services folder, I will create math service ng gs services /math.
हाँ बोलो.
So I'll have a math service. In math service, we will write some data and methods, and those data and methods will be used by multiple components. Suppose this is how math service looks like. In math service, what is a service? A service is nothing but a class with injectable decorator. When we use injectable decorator, it means it is a service. What is injectable? Let me quickly show you. Huh. When we use ng module decorator, it's a module. At component, it's a component. At directive, it's a directive. At injectable, it's a service. At pipe is a pipe. So today we got to learn another decorator, that is at injectable. When we use at injectable, it is a service. And there is something written called provided in root. Provided in root, it means it is available to the whole application. When we say provided in root, it is available to the whole application. Any module available in this project can access. So last time also we discussed every project in Angular, every Angular project, if this is a project, every project will have lot of modules. This is module 1, this is module 2, this is module 3, this is module 3. Every project will have modules, module 1, module 2, module 3. Suppose a service is there here. To which all modules this service will be available? Is this service available to the components available in this module? Suppose the circles are components. This is component, this is component, this is component, this is component. Now when we have a service, if it is a service, is this service available to all the modules and all the components? Or it is available to only one module and all the components of that module? That we can decide. When we write provided in root, it means this service can be accessible by any component from any module. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
One question. If we declare or create the service inside a model, then and we added the provided in equal to root, then it is available to all components, right? Or all modules.
Yes. Yes.
So our project is having one module, right? App module. So if it is having another app module 1, there also it will be available.
Yes. If our project has multiple modules, it will be available to all the modules. If you want to make it available to only one module, then don't write like this. Don't write like this. Okay. Suppose I'll create a module called login module or customer module or some other module. If I create, then I can make a service available to only that module, not to this module, by removing this. And you have to go to the module. In the module, there is one providers array. In providers array, you add the service. When we add the service in providers array, that service becomes available to only one module, not to the whole project. Is it clear? You have to remove this provided in root, and You have to register that service here.
But to which module it is available?
In whatever module you will add that service.
Okay. If you don't mind, can you add one login module just to see the folder structure?
Yes. Okay. So let me create one more module and one more component.
I think we can cover that part in another section because module is the one section which is big.
Yeah, quickly we'll just create a module and we'll just see how to register a service in that module. For that also we have a command. I'm looking for that command. I'm not able to recall that command. Give me a second. ng generate module. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yes. Suppose we have a different module called customers, or grocery is a different module. Hmm. So let me do like this. ng generate module customers, route, then customers, module, app module. So when we run this command, it will do a lot of things. What it will do, I'll explain what it is doing. Huh? First of all, it will create a module customers. ng generate module customers. It will create a customers module. Hyphen route means it will create a routing file for customers module also. It will create a file called customers-routing.ts. It will create a customers component. And customers module will be linked with app module. All these things will be done by one command. Could not find route. I think it is routing instead of route. What if I write routing? No, even this is not correct. And which version of Angular I have? Angular 14. Maybe this works in Angular 15. Okay. But
That's fine. We'll cover it later whenever time comes.
okay. Okay, fine. Oop. Anyway, I'll discuss it again. If I miss it, you can remind me again. Just remind me that how can we make a service available to only one module, not the whole project. You can remind me. But today we created a service and that service name is Math service. This Math service is available to the whole project. Why? Because here we have written provided in root. So this service is available to whole project. Now in sorry. In this Math service, I have few functions. Let's say I have functions like add function, which takes a and b and returns a plus b. Then I have sub function which takes a b and returns a minus b. Then it has a variable also. It has a variable. The variable name is pi, whose value is 3.141. The service name is Math service. Math service has one data and two logic. Math service has one data and two logic. Now, how many components can use this data and logic?
Any component.
Any component, right? Before I show the example, let me go through this theory. Just give me 1 more minute. What is Angular service and why we use Angular service? We use Angular service to share logic or data across components. Logic means method, data means variable. Yes, it is mainly used for code reusability. Write once, use that in multiple components. If a component has a private data and the component doesn't want to share that data to second component, don't write that in service. If you are pretty sure that it's a common code and should be used by multiple components, keep it in a service. Services are lazily instantiated. Lazily instantiated, it means Angular creates object for the service only when a component is dependent on it. If there is no component using the service, then the object for the service will not be created. The object for the service will be created only if at least a component is using that service. Services are singletons. Singleton means only one instance of that service will be created if there are 10 components using that service. Each component dependent on a service gets a reference to the single instance generated by the service factory. Only one instance of the service gets created throughout the application. So if there are 10 components using one service, it doesn't mean there will be 10 objects created. No, there will be only one. There will be only one. Uh, there will be only one instance created for all the components. How to create a service? Ng GS service name. How to use it? So create a service. Write a class with set of methods and properties. Decorate that class with @injectable decorator. Then use a service in component. Import the service to component file. Create a reference variable for that service inside the constructor of the component. Then use the variables and methods. If we understand technically, we already have a service created. This service has one data and two methods. Now, if Math one component, math demo one component wants to use the method from the service, then what math demo one will do? First of all, math demo one is dependent on a service. So math demo one will inject a service. How to inject? We will write private math service colon math service. The right hand side one is the class name here. Left hand side one can be anything. It can be math service. It can be math obj also. The name can be anything. Right hand side one should be the class name, the service class name. This concept is called dependency injection. When a component is dependent on a service, we inject the service in the component, and this concept is called dependency injection. Once the dependency injection is done, this component can access the data or can access the methods from that service. Suppose I'll write a variable, let add result is equal to this dot math object dot add 2,3 console.log addition of $A. Suppose we have here three variables. A is equal to 20, B is equal to 10, and add result is a variable. Add result is a number. Okay. So here I am passing this dot A and this dot B, and it should be this dot add result. And I'll say addition of this dot A and dollar this dot B is dollar this dot add result. Now, if we go and run this program, I just have to go to center component. In center component, I'll enable app math demo 1, app math demo 2. There are two components. I will add a line between them just to differentiate. And when I go and reload, it says addition of 2 and 3 is 5. Addition of 20 and 10 is 30. I will show you the component. Please take a look at it and tell me if you have any question here. Any question?
No question. Where is 2 and 3 coming from?
Yes.
It was previous response. If I clear and reload, it will not come. Addition of 2 and 3 is 5. Oh, it's coming from somewhere. Addition of
service.
mathutils.ts.
It's coming from mathutils.ts. Okay. So there is something called mathutils.ts. Okay. Okay. It is getting called by some other component. Yeah.
No, that is not class.
No. Math utils is a utility file. It is being used by another file. Who is using that? We have to see. Math utils is used by footer component.
Yes.
So in footer component, I should comment it out. Done. No, it should not come. Yeah. So now it says addition of 20 and 10 is 30. So what is the benefit? The benefit is if the same logic is required by math demo 2, if the same logic is required by math demo 2 doesn't have to repeat. So let's say math demo 2 wants to call again addition method or subtraction method. Then let's say this is 15, this is 25. Only the data changes are there and nothing else is changed. So it will say addition of 15 and 25 is 40. So this is the simplest example. The real-time use cases we will discuss later. First, get used to with the syntax and use of service. Then we will understand what is the real-time use case where we should use service. Are we clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
One question about the lazy loading. So you say whenever whenever a component need the service will be loaded. But when the component doesn't need it, when we destroy the component, does the
Hmm.
service still active or
It will be destroyed.
it will be destroyed?
Yes. So to comment on your point, you told lazy loading. Lazy loading is different and lazily instantiated is different. So we have to say here services are lazily instantiated. Lazily instantiated means the instance for service will be created only if there is one active component who is using the service. If there is no active component who is using the service, the instance of the service will be destroyed.
Okay.
That is called lazily instantiated. There is another thing called lazy loading. So these two are completely two different things. Hence, I just wanted to let you know. So don't use that term.
Understand.
Okay. Okay.
There is a if we have multiple services and all the services we have to call in the constructor only, sir.
Very good point. Yeah. What if there is another service? Suppose there is another service. Then we have to create another instance here by writing private HTTP colon HTTP client.
Module.
So this is the service. This is the object for the service.
Yeah, we can create the multiple objects and can store. Yeah, that is fine.
We can create multiple multiple service objects by using command. Is it clear? One more thing. One service can use another service also.
Oh,
One service can use another service also. What if I am asking one service to give some data? That service is going and getting some data from another service. That is also possible.
Nested
If,
services.
sorry,
Nested services.
uh,
Service inside another calling.
we can say service calling another service. One example could be, suppose we have a service called movie service. That movie service has movie information. If I ask movie service, give me the movie details, that service will give me only the movie data. That service will give me the movie data. For every movie, again we need IMDb information. If we need IMDb information, then that movie service indirectly will go and you IMDb service will get the IMDb information from IMDb service and will add it to movie data in movie service. Maybe I can quickly show you that example also so that it will make more sense. But do you understand how to create a service, how to use a service in a component? The syntax is clear now?
Yes, yes.
yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. 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 So I will start with a component first of all. Let me create a component. The component name is movie
হাই
movie
সুইটি, তোমার একটু
list.
রিপ্লাই করো। একটা কাস্টমারকে 5টা চকলেট পাঠাতে হবে, তোমার কথা মতো 5টাই অর্ডার নেওয়া হচ্ছে।
Movie list is a
তো
component.
তুমি যেমন পেমেন্ট দাও তেমনই পাবে,
If
নাম
movie
দিয়ে
list is a
সিগনেচার
component,
আর কত টাকা ডেলিভারি চার্জ লাগবে ইন কেস অফ আউটসাইড ওয়েস্ট বেঙ্গল ব্যাঙ্গালোর অ্যাড্রেসে যদি ডিসি করা
I'll
হয়
go
সেটা
to
আপনি জানাবেন।
center
অর্ডারটা আমি
component.
ধরে নেবো, অর্ডারটা উনি
In
অলরেডি
center,
500 টাকার মতো জমা দিয়েছেন অ্যান্ড আমি তাহলে পুরোটা পেমেন্ট নিয়ে নেবো আর কি ওনার থেকে। একটু যদি জানাও আমাকে রিপ্লাই করো ভালো হয়। তুমি তোমাকে আমি পুরো পেমেন্টই
I
করে দিচ্ছি
will
তারপর। আর কবে দিতে পারবে, মানে কবে
movie
শিফট হবে, আর মোটামুটি
list.
একটা ব্যাঙ্গালোরে এস্টিমেটেড ডেলিভারি টাইম
Now
কেমন লাগে? হ্যাঁ,
in UI, it says movie list is working. Okay, this is movie list. This is movie list component. Suppose this is movie list component.html. So what we will do here, movie list. Okay, in this movie list, we will show list of movies. Then where the data should be maintained, is it in movie list component or it should be there in a service?
So data should come from service or
Maintaining the data in a service is better, right?
yes, yes.
Tomorrow if movie card component wants or movie table component wants, or let's say some other component wants the same data, they can also use, right? When we maintain the data in a service, many people can use it, and it's not a private data, so it can be maintained in service. If there is some private data, let it make available to only a component, but this data can be maintained in service. It's not sensitive information. So I'll create a service now. The service name is
স্যারের নাম কৌস্তব, ওইটা ডেলিভারি অ্যাড্রেস, এটা কে কে অর্ডার ফেলো 300
ng generate
থেকে দাম
service
ডেলিভারি
services
99 দাম। উনি 370 পেমেন্ট করে দিয়েছেন। কেকটা কি হবে আমি
movie
বাকিটাকে বলে
service.
দিচ্ছি। তুমি শুধু দায়িত্ব নিয়ে সন্ধ্যাবেলায়
Movie is a
ফোন করে
service.
ডেলিভারিটা করিয়ে দিও। 25 টাকা দেওয়া হচ্ছে ডেলিভারিটার জন্য।
Movie service.
25 টাকাটা স্যার যিনি ডেলিভারি করতে যাবেন
And
তাকে দেবেন আর কি, উনি ক্যাশে দিয়ে দেবেন।
I have another service called
ডিউ করে, ঠিক আছে?
IMDb service.
395 বিল হবে, 370
There are two
জমা পড়ে যাবে।
services, movie service and IMDb service.
কালকে ডেলিভারিটা করা যাবে। আগে থেকে আমি
Suppose movie service is having one variable always is equal to movie ID 101, movie name Three Idiots, then producer. Who is the producer of this movie? Anyone? Okay, movie ID 102, name RRR, Rajmouli, some KGF. Who is producer?
Prashant is a director.
Prashant. Oh, it's okay. Prashant. So, who is the producer for Three Idiots?
Rajkumar Irani.
Rajkumar Irani. Okay. So we have movies information, but we don't have IMDb information because movie service need not maintain IMDb information. No need. So this movie service is dependent on another service. The service name is IMDb service. So the IMDb service has IMDb or ratings. It has ratings array. It has ratings array, and let's say for ID 101, the rating is 7.8. For 102, 8.8. For ID 103, the rating is 6.9. Now, so this is a rating information that is there in IMDb service. And let's say there is a method called get all ratings. This get all ratings returns rating information. Now, if a component will use this data, is it useful data for a component? No, right? A component will try to display movie information along with that IMDb information, right? Only IMDb information nowhere you will see, right? Isn't it? Hmm?
Yes.
Okay. So maybe this IMDb service may not be useful for the movie list component, but this will be useful for movie service. So what movie service will do, movie service will inject IMDb service, IMDb service. In industry, people will follow a standard. The right hand side will be the class name. Left hand side will be the same name, only the first letter is small. If the first letter is small, this is the object, this is the class. So please don't get confused. If you have any question, get it clarified. So movie service is dependent on another service called IMDb service. Then somehow movie service is writing some logic and updating the movie's information. This dot movies, this dot all movies is equal to all movies. Uh,
Service object dot
let me get all the ratings first of all. Const all ratings is equal to this dot IMDb service dot get all ratings. It will give me all ratings. Now I will iterate this all ratings dot map. We will get one rating object. We will get one rating object. Using that rating object, we will find the movie information. So const movie object is equal to this dot all movies dot find find movie dot id is equal to rating.id. So we will get one movie object here. Once we get the movie object, we got the movie object. In the movie object, no, sorry, we should get the rating object. We got the movie object. Then in this movie object, we should iterate. Give me a second, guys. I'm iterating movies. We will get one movie. Then I'm iterating the ratings, then rating, then we will get rating object, all movies. Hmm. Hmm. Then in this movie object dot rating is equal to rating object dot rating. Okay, then return the movie, then return the movie of rating movie of type any. Okay, rating object dot rating. Fine. Now let me console all movies and show you. Okay, fine. Now I will have a method here. The method name is get all movies. Get all movies. So get all movies is a method which returns this dot all movies. We can add a couple of more methods. Uh, get horror movies. Then so write the logic here. Hope you understand. We cannot write here because we have no category. If we add category what kind of movie it is. Category it is horror movie. Category comedy movie. Then it will be easy for us to filter. Hope you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
So if somebody is calling get all movies, it will return all the movies. If somebody is saying give me only horror movies, then it will give only horror movies. So we can say return this dot all movies dot filter. It will get one movie information. Movie dot category is equal to horror. Yeah. So we can write some logic and we can always achieve whatever we want. Now, do you have any question before I move to next file?
No.
No. Okay. Anyone else?
No, not now.
Now IMDb service is used by movie service. Movie service has some variable, then some methods. Now movie component wants something. If movie component wants movie, then what this component will do? Will inject the service. What it
Inject
will
the
do?
service in constructor.
How to inject?
The private constructor.
Private
Object.
Object and class name.
Movies.
movie service, right?
Yes.
So this is movie service. Then in component we will have our own variable name. We will say movies is a variable. Then in on init we will say this dot movies is equal to
movie service
This dot movie service
Service dot
dot get
get
all
all
movies. Now we will have movies data here. Then here in movie HTML, we will have then here we will add the repeat ng4 equal to let movie of
নর্মাল কাদের ফোন
movies.
করা হয় না, 3 মাস আবার ফোন করছে,
Then
তারপরে কাস্টমারটা
we will
3 মাস
create
ফোন
a
করছে,
card.
বললো 10টা পর সব ফোন।
Let me search the card code. Card.
আমি একটু বেরোবো,
So this is the card.
কি বলবো, দুটো কল করতেই হবে আমার, কাল থেকে wait করছি।
Okay. So this is card. In this card, we will show the movie image. Movie image also will come from movie object. So that's not a problem. So here we will say movie dot category, movie dot name, then
Dot ID.
movie dot id, then movie dot category, and then
rating.
rating. Okay, movie dot rating or how it is rating, huh? So let's see how it, yeah, we can see how it looks like. Yeah, you see there are 3 movies. This is movie 1, 3 Idiots. 101, this is horror movie. This is 7.88 rating. This is another movie. This is another movie, right?
Yes.
Got it?
Yes.
Yes. Now, just to try to understand the industry standard, can you go back to the movie service?
Yeah.
The movie service.
Yeah, this is movie
Where
service.
you are doing the math function and filter function. So let's say we have 2 data set here. One is the movie data set, one is the rating data set, right? And we are
Yeah.
going to do some join like in SQL, left join, outer join, or inner join.
Correct.
So this is
Correct.
how we should do, right?
Yes.
Can you come again?
So my question is, we have 2 data set. One is movie data set, one is rating data set.
Yes.
So any kinds of join that we do in SQL, like inner join or left join, so we will do in Angular writing a JavaScript code like using the map function or filter function to use the
Correct.
join,
Correct.
right? How we
So
should
in
do that.
in SQL, the way we are doing left join, right join, outer join, inner join, and all, right? The
Mhm.
same way, if we have to play with 2 data sets in Angular, then we can write for loop, we can write map method, we can write for each map and all, and we can combine the data.
So here is the same when we need to know JavaScript and all the functions.
Correct. Yeah,
Yes.
JavaScript is heavily used. Without JavaScript,
And since
it's very
now
difficult to
we
combine these
started,
2 data sets.
since we started Angular, we didn't use much of the JavaScript
Yeah,
code. But to manipulate data, we need to use it.
correct.
And
So
one more
this
question
much
here.
is plain JavaScript, right? This much is plain JavaScript. Yeah.
So the logic
So-
which are right in the constructor, it is right in the outside also.
We can write outside. You can create a separate function and call that function from constructor.
And should we do in the constructor when we are using multiple service?
We can do that, or else what we can do when somebody is asking it, give me the movies, right? So you better you have a separate function, combine data as a function. This combined data is doing all these things. Now, when somebody is asking, get all movies, just say this dot combine data. First combine the data, then return. If somebody is calling, give me horror movies, combine the data and give the information.
But if we have
This,
it in the constructor, we do not need to perform the same operation again and again.
yeah, exactly. Or
Sanjay,
else
question. If we declare combined data like this, we can access this method in compound like.
we can easily make it private here,
Okay.
so nobody can access it.
Okay.
This
Means we
dot
can create the
combine
private.
data. Yeah. So we can create the private data. See, when we don't make this data set private, let me quickly show you what is the problem. When we don't make this data set private, if somebody has access to if
কিন্তু
somebody has
ওইখানে
access
আলিপুর
to
অ্যাড্রেস একবার নাও,
this
তুমি
service
বুঝলে
instance,
প্রবলেম হয়ে যাবে
movie
কিন্তু।
list component is having access to the service. If movie list component will say console.log this dot
আচ্ছা, আপডেট
movie
আলিপুর দেওয়ারও
service
দিতে হবে, ম্যানুয়ালও দিতে হবে না।
not
কবে দিতে
all
বলতে বুঝতে পারো?
movies, directly he will be able to have data set, which is not good. So so if a service is maintaining, see, I'm able to access the data set directly, right? Got it now? This component is able to access the data set from service directly, which is not a good approach. The service should make it private. As soon as the service makes it private, nobody who has the instance of this service will be able to access my variables directly. So if somebody is trying to access, see, we get a error. So it is saying that property all movies is private and only accessible within the class. You should no need to do anything now. The checks are added now. So if it is private, then you are not supposed to access that variable directly. So this way of accessing the data is not allowed. Now, what is the other option? The other option is you have to call the method. So you have to call all these methods. So by calling these methods only, we will get the data. And we are getting the data by calling the methods. So all these things are object-oriented concepts. If you know what is object-oriented programming, we can implement all those things here also. So it's nothing different here.
Yes, we got it.
Yeah.
Sanjay, can you explain that line number 21?
Yes. So what are we doing? We have all movies. In all movies, every movie object has only ID, name, production category, but it doesn't have rating information. If it doesn't have rating information, somehow we have to go to another service called IMDb service. And from IMDb service, from IMDb,
ఏదో చెప్పే కదా కొద్దు
from IMDb service, we have to get the ratings. We have to get the ratings. So when we get the ratings here, this dot get all ratings means we will have this array. So this array itself is of no use, and this array is useful, but it is missing IMDb information. Somehow we have to bring the IMDb information from that array and add it here. To achieve that logic, to achieve that, bring the IMDb information from this array. For there should be a common column. The common column is ID, and rating information I have to pick from this array for ID 101 and add it here. To do that, we have this logic. In this logic, what are we doing? this dot all movies dot map. I'm iterating all the movies. I'm iterating this array. I'll get one movie information. By using that movie ID, I will find the rating object.
এই
Get
অফিসে
all
কাজ চলছিল,
ratings
কালকে আমার দেরি
dot
হয়ে গেছে
find
একদম, বেরিয়ে গেছে, তখন ঘুমিয়ে গেছে।
all, or I can say all
ঘরেই
ratings
আছি, এই যে আমি
instead
কল
of
করছি তো
get
শেষ
all.
করলে বলো।
All ratings.
হ্যাঁ,
All ratings is one array.
শুনতে পাচ্ছি না।
Ratings dot find. If movie ID
ভালো,
and
তোমার খবর
rating
কি?
ID is same, this is movie ID.
ঠিক আছে?
This is rating ID. If it is same, what is the rating object? This whole rating object.
হ্যাঁ বলো।
From the rating object, we will get the rating object.
Hello?
Then what we will do? In movie object,
শুনতে পাচ্ছ?
I will add one field called rating.
হ্যালো,
Rating
Hello?
object dot
Okay, good.
rating. In rating object, there is a field called rating. Add that information in movie object, then return the movie object. Now this dot all movies will have ID, name, producer, category, and rating information. Hope you got it right. Hmm? Is it clear?
Yeah, now it's clear.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now, another question before I proceed. Any other question? Okay. If no question, in movie list, we can do anything. Anything means we can have a button, we can have a down, we can have a drop down to filter
হ্যাঁ বলো,
out the
কেটে গেল
data.
তখন।
It means we can have a button
হুম,
here,
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, মনে আছে ওই যেটা।
button. Only horror movies I want.
হুম,
Horror movies. We can have a drop down, and on drop down change we can call a function.
চাকরিতে আছে
And
একটা, আরো বড় চাকরির চেষ্টা করছি।
on click, I will say get movies.
না, ও কিন্তু বলেছিল যে আমি সেন্ট্রাল গভর্নমেন্ট
Get movies is a function.
পাশাপাশি
So here I'll write a get movies
Exactly,
function.
অত কথা হয়নি,
In this
যা
get
কথা হচ্ছে
movies,
recording করে পাঠিয়েছিলাম।
I will say
Exactly মনে নেই এরকম details এ।
get movies. We will pass a parameter.
আরে আর তো এগোচ্ছ কেন?
Horror.
তখন মানে প্রণমনা করে
And
এগিয়ে
here
যাও। আর
category.
তাহলে ওটাকে নিয়ে আর ভেবে কিছু লাভ নেই, যদি ওর মত।
And
ওরা কি ফোন করেছিল নাকি? ও
Yeah.
মামা ফোন করেছিল ওদেরকে?
I think we can make it parameterized also. Here also we can make it parameterized. Huh? Get filtered movies, or we can change the logic. Just assume this is horror all the time. So here instead of get all movies, I'll call get horror movies. Get horror movies. So that what will happen initially, it will show me all the movies. But when I perform a filter here, either a button or a drop down, when I apply some filter, only horror movies will be shown. Right?
Yes.
2 ঘন্টার রাস্তা। মাসে একবার যারা তুমি দেখা হবে।
And to achieve this functionality, we have one component, two service linked. Though the data is static data, for sure this should be a live data. We are not, we are yet to discuss how to bring the live data from database. With static data set, we are able to implement a small movie component, right?
Yes.
Can you go little down here on this page, on this component? Okay. Okay, so on line number 19, you are calling the service again to get the horror movie list, right?
Yeah.
So this is one way. The other way is we already have the movie list. We can filter it. Which way is
Uh,
the
Very good. The answer is service. If you write filter logic here, yeah, we can write filter logic in the component. What if the same logic is required by another component? Think that
right?
component again
Yeah,
will write filter logic, right?
yeah,
Why can't we write that filter logic in a service so that if 5 components are using, they don't have to filter, right?
yeah. And does it take same time if I do the filter here or if I call the service? Does it take
Yes,
same time or
it takes same time.
okay? Then it's better to do from the service.
Yes. So if you think I'm calling component, component is calling service, service is doing something, it takes more time. No,
এখন এই ঘটকপ্রদানা না বন্ধ হয়ে গেছে, এখন নিজেরা ট্রেন করলো, সেটা তুমি পেয়ে গেল, সেটা একটা আলাদা ব্যাপার, সেটা হলে হলো, আর তা না হলে
it's
ওই
better to do in the
জানাশোনার
service
মধ্যে কিছু রইলো, এগুলো মানে আমার মাসির মেয়ের ছেলে, কাকার মেয়ের ছেলে, জ্যাঠার মেয়ের ছেলে, ওরকম কিছু
because
রইলো
we
বলে
have written a
তারা
service. It
জমিদার
means
জমিদার
we
ছেলে
have
মেয়ে
written a service. It means
একটা
this
ট্রেন
data
সার্ভিস দিয়ে
and
দিলাম,
these functions will not be used by one component.
খারাপ নয়, 3 মাসের 5
There
টাকা
will be
যদি নেয়,
many more components who will be
তো
using this
সেরকম
data
হলে
set
ভালো, স্টেবল
and
আছে,
this
কারণ তুমি
logic.
যদি কথা বলে সব বুঝে নিলে, তুমি ওখানে রেগুলার সেট করে নিলে যে আমার বাড়ি থেকে 30 কিলোমিটারের মধ্যে ফিল্টার করে নিলে 30 কিলোমিটারের মধ্যে ছেলে মেয়েদের বাইরের অ্যাড্রেস দেখা
If you
যাবে,
want to
অ্যাটলিস্ট
make it
মায়ের কাছে
more
চলে যাবে, মায়ের মোটামুটি
more
করে
parameterized,
ব্যাপারটা করলে তুমি যতটা
then
জিরো কিনা
pass the
যখন
category
করবে,
here,
ওখানে কাস্ট দিয়েও সার্চ করা
and
যাবে, যে কাস্টের চয়েস
the name should not be
কলকাতা
get horror
কন্টেস্ট আছে,
movies,
সেরকমভাবে সার্চ করলে
get
ওরকম টাইপের চলে আসবে, সেটাকে কন্টেস্ট করে
filtered
ফলো করে
movies,
চলে আসবে, ইন্টারেস্ট কন্ট্রোল
and
যাদের যাদের
get
ভালো
the
লাগবে না,
category here,
কন্ট্যাক্ট করবো, ওখানে ফিল্টার নাম্বার দেওয়ার দরকার নেই, বাবার নাম্বার
and
রাখো, দিয়ে বাবাকে কন্ট্যাক্ট করলে বাবা বলবে হ্যাঁ আমি দাদা বলছি, ভাই
print the
বলছি,
category.
হ্যাঁ আপনার সম্বন্ধে কি জানান,
Now
আচ্ছা বা
the
একটা
component
কথা বল, আচ্ছা
will
ঠিক
not
আছে,
call
বাবার সাথে রুগীর সাথে কথা বলে
get horror
পরিষ্কার হবে,
movies,
তুমি
get
যখন ফোন করলো তুমি
filtered
একটা হাতে
movies,
করে আমার ছেলে বাবার সাথে কথা বলবে,
and
আমার এই
I will
ব্যাপারটা দিয়ে যাবে,
pass
আর দিয়ে ব্যাপারটা এগিয়ে যাবে,
the category
এই
here.
প্রোটোটাইপ না করতে পারলে কিন্তু খুব দেরি হবে, প্রোটোটাইপ তুমি যত তাড়াতাড়ি করতে পারবে
So it's the same thing.
ভালো রেজাল্ট
Now,
পাওয়া যাবে, ওখানে তুমি ডিস্টেন্স
now
সার্ভিস শুরু সমস্ত রকম জিনিস একসাথে পেয়ে যাবে,
if I have two
মানে শুনতে ভালো
buttons,
লাগে, মানে জিনিসপত্র কেনা লাগে,
one is
কথা
horror,
এখনকার
one
দিনে
is
কোথায়
comedy.
মানে ইয়ে করার
So now all the movies are there.
তারপর
If I click on horror,
হচ্ছিল
horror movies.
তোমাকে যেতে
If I
হচ্ছে
click
না,
on
তুমি চেষ্টা
comedy,
করে মানে
comedy movie.
একদম তুমি যেগুলো চাইছো সেগুলো হাতের কাছে সেই টাইপের জিনিসগুলো চলে গেল, ওই ব্যাপারটার জন্য তুমি মাঝখানে করেছিল বুঝা মনে করে ভিডিওটা একেবারে ঠিক আছে, ওটাকে একটু অ্যাক্টিভ করতে হবে না, আমি সবাইকে বলো হালকা বেশি হাইট কত, ওয়েট কত, কি পড়াশোনা করেছে, হ্যাঁ তো ওখানে নতুন করে গাড়ি রং কেমন, সব অনেক প্যারামিটার আছে, যেটা বেশি
If it is get all
একটা
movies,
শিখতেই হবে, মানে একটা শো দিতে হয় না,
we can have a get all movies in the component itself.
একটা ভালো ছবি ওরা একটা দিতে
We
হবে,
can
যে
have
ছবি এনেছে তাকে
get all movies in the component itself,
ইনফরমেশনগুলো করতে হবে,
and
মোবাইল
we can call this method.
এই
From on init we can call,
না
from button click also we can call the same method. On init it is showing all the movies. If I filter horror movie, it shows horror movies. If I filter comedy movies, it shows comedy movies. If I say all movies, it shows me all movies.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay.
One question.
Yes.
We at the time of data sharing within component, you say that we can share the data within components by service. So that part is still pending, right?
That part is not pending. That part is covered today.
Already covered,
So-
man.
No.
I didn't take that name explicitly, but indirectly that is covered.
No, but how we share data here? We just reuse the code, not the share data.
Yeah. If you ask in that term, yes, we are not sharing data from one person to another person. See, suppose there are. Let me give you one real time example. If there are three persons standing, one person is having a ball. If you pass the ball from person one to person two, person two to person three, that is called share the ball from or throw the ball from one person to another person. If we say there is a common place, chocolates are there, go and get the chocolate. So there are three persons, everyone goes and gets the data from that chocolate box, which is openly placed. That is also called as sharing the things. So it is not like one component is passing the data to another component. It is like the data is maintained in a common place. Whoever wants goes and collects. Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
In this, we cannot say this is a data sharing within.
We can say, I think we can say.
Just
Anyone
here, just
else?
we use the code, not the data. You using the services.
Here we have data for movies and ratings, right? So
Yes.
these are the data. So